healthcare, housing, agriculture, green energy, all in the emerging market of Ukraine. Another thing that really separates our financial product from the other financial products that may be out there, I'm sure some of you from time to time have heard some presentations from the private equity guys, from the hedge fund guys, and they just love fees. They just love to put fees in their financial product. They talk about the 2 and 20. They talk about all of the carried interest provision. Oh, they have fees down to a science. Well, not Andesite Blue. We do things the old-fashioned way, a simpler way. We are going to pay you interest between 7.15 to 8.85% interest. And then we are going to invest into projects that will return higher than that amount. So we may invest into a project that pays 13%, that pays 14%, and that allows us to provide you with the passive income and make a profit. But the beauty of it is we are able to do that without charging you any fees. We are in a situation where we're one of the few companies that doesn't charge fees to our investors. Now, I'm not giving those guys a hard time about their fees. I'm not saying they don't deserve their fees. I'm just asking you folks to think about if you would like to invest and not pay the fees, because they don't have that option if you invest with them. Your money is going into their fees, whereas with Andesite Blue, your money is going into useful projects that fund the reconstruction of housing in Ukraine, along with other industries like healthcare, medical, dental. We also offer interest payment flexibility. Whatever you need on that, we can work with you. We have some standard solutions as well. We can go over that. Now I want to show something that is so important to our friends in the United Kingdom. I want to look here at a 30-year gilt. For those of you that are not from the United Kingdom, a gilt is a government bond in the United Kingdom. And this yield, it's going to look at over time, how has the gilt done? And then we're going to compare it to Andesite Blue, to our bonds, the Andesite Blue corporate income bonds. So let's take a look at it. It's a short clip. It's just a couple minutes, but I think you'll find it enlightening. I think you'll find it interesting. At the United Kingdom's 30-year gilt yield, and then compare that with Andesite Blue. And I'll give you a hint. Andesite Blue has much higher yields. So let's go ahead and look at the long-term history here. We can see that the highest that yields were in the United Kingdom was around 16% back in 1981. And then the general trend is it has gone down. The yield has decreased in value over time on the UK gilt. So if we go all the way to it looks like about May of 2020, it was even a little lower there. We can see that, you know, you had some very low, here's a yield that was as low as 0.52 back in April of 2020. And then it's gone up. But to put that into comparison, we are offering a yield that's around 7.15 to 8.85. So let's just call it 8 approximately. To get an 8 yield, to get an 8% yield, you would have to go back in time to if you compare it with a gilt, you're looking at the last, it was around an 8% yield was around, let's see, when was it here? It was a while ago. To get an 8% yield, you had to go all the way back a long time to get that. It would have been somewhere around the 90s. So it's something to keep in mind that with Andesite Blue, we are able to offer a return that's around 8%. And the UK gilt has not done that in many years. So just please keep that in mind when you're trying to decide between bonds that are gilts and Andesite Blue. At the fantastic. So how does the bond work? Well, Basically, we provide a passive income bond to high net worth individuals and institutions, and the net proceeds of the bond, they are used to invest in Ukraine with projects that have been reviewed and passed our due diligence. We have an extensive due diligence process before we make an investment. And our local Ukrainian management company collects the rent and oversees management of the loan portfolio. So it is designed to be simple solution. What kind of investments? As mentioned, healthcare, real estate, agriculture, surgical clinics, all sorts of great investments. Let's take an example of the return. Let's say that you placed 100,000 pounds. That is our suggested minimum, but we will work with you folks. If this is the first year you've worked with Andesite Blue and you want to do something a little smaller, we're happy to accommodate that. We're happy to work with you. But let's imagine you placed 100,000 pounds. And if you were to do the 36-month option and to take the quarterly payment, say, hey, I want to get a payment every quarter, you would earn 7.15%. Over that 36 months, you would receive 21,450 pounds. And then at the end of the term, you would receive 100,000 pounds once the term ends. Now, if you wanted more, some people are in a situation where they don't really need that income and they would rather just earn the maximum. If you want the maximum, you may want to look at the 60-month. Now, the 60-month, you place 100,000 pounds, and then you will, at the end of the term, you're going to receive 155,659 pounds in one payment. So that is how the returns work. It's so simple. And from there, we can work on what passive income level you're trying to reach. And one more convenience factor that we offer for you, because a lot of our investors, they may be in the situation where really they don't have anything that's going to be a better investment that can pay that much, because a gilt can't pay that much. There's no way. So with this, we, as a convenience, we give you notice that your bond is maturing. And then if you say, hey, send the money to this bank account or the one that you have on file, we send the money there. Or if you don't let us know, we will just automatically renew the bond for a year. And that way we can keep the money working for you. So you're not having to get it back and then go seek out another investment, because we've got an opportunity here that for many years we can do good work. But we do give you notice, and it's a convenience. Whatever you prefer, we're more than happy to do it. So a question that people sometimes ask is, why should I invest in the bond? Well, the directors believe that an investment in the bond is suited to investors that are seeking an above average return on investment. So if you're the type of investor that actually wants an above average return, the Andesite Blue Bond fits that requirement. If you're content with an average return, you can just buy a UK gilt. And that's a big difference. The other thing that's different with our bonds is our bonds are asset-based. We use the gold standard asset-based. And what I mean by that is when we do a project, we look at the value of the asset, and we loan, for example, 70% of the value of the asset, or even 60% of the value of the asset. So this is something that is so important, that these loans are backed by hard assets, by real estate. So it's something where each project has hard collateral. So how long is the bond? Is 36 to 60 months. Another question that people sometimes have is if you can put the bond into your self-invested personal pension. Well, that is a great question. And the actual answer is this is subject to approval by your SIP provider. I can't technically answer that, but I can tell you this. If you ask your SIP provider and they're not helpful, call us back, because we know a lot of SIP providers as well, and we can find you a SIP provider that may be able to help you if the one that you're working with is not helpful. So, but I can't see any reason that it wouldn't be, but each SIP provider, they have their own rules. So you need to check with them. What type of an investment? Again, you're buying a corporate income bond, you're not buying a government bond, and that's why the return is so much higher.